Kaieteur Radio.
Covering Guyana from coast to coast.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio. Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Kaieteur Radio, the radio with a difference.
99.1 FM.
Good morning and welcome to this morning's newscast right here on Kaieteur Radio. I am Kevin Smith. Let's get to the news in detail. Vice President Dr. Bharat Jagdeo disclosed yesterday that a number of new companies are knocking on the door of the PPPC government to engage in discussions on the exciting prospects of Guyana's oil industry. In contrast, those exploration companies such as CGX Resources Inc., who have been awarded oil blocks but are not performing, will be in for a rude awakening, particularly via rigid performance reviews. Speaking to members of the media fraternity at the Arthur Chang Conference Center, Jagdeo said that CGX is one of those companies which would have been in receipt of offshore licenses, but has done little to no work to date. The concerned vice president said that work on CGX's Quarantine and Demerara blocks are long overdue, while adding that it has been 13 years since any work has been done. The former head of state recalled that prior to 2007, CGX was awarded a petroleum license in the offshore Guyana basin, but when efforts were initiated to drill the Eagle 1 well, it was prevented from doing so by Suriname's naval gunboats. In other news, the government will be deploying approximately 500 GDF ranks to assist Guyana Police Force officers and several society groups in ensuring that all members of the public adhere to the COVID-19 regulations. This was disclosed by Guyana Defence Force Chief of Staff Brigadier Godfrey Bess at a press conference held by Prime Minister Mark Phillips and the National COVID-19 Task Force on Thursday. Bess stated that they will be working assiduously to interface with citizens while utilizing a thought-cogent approach. This approach will ensure that citizens wear their masks at all times once in public in a proper manner, follow all given social distancing guidelines, and adhere to the curfew as mandated by the official COVID-19 Gazette order. And moving on, the constitutional role of Guyana's Parliamentary and Governance Affairs Minister was called into question yesterday after opposition leader Joseph Harmon laid claims that she was usurping the functions and duties of the public office of Secretary of the Cabinet. At this week's press update, Harmon stated that the PPPC unabatedly continues to breach Guyana's constitution, citing Article 117 as a principal example. Article 117 provides for the public office of Article 117 provides for the public office of a secretary to the cabinet. The opposition leader explained that duties and functions of this office are inclusive of arranging the business for and keeping the minutes of the cabinet and for conveying the decisions of the cabinet to the appropriate person or authority. And moving on, Vice President Dr. Bharat Jagdeo yesterday said that it is wishful thinking to assume that the Payara development permit could have been leveraged to demand a better production sharing agreement from ExxonMobil. The politician delivered his latest rebuke of calls to get a better deal during a press conference at the Arthur Chang Conference Center. The 2016 deal, signed for Exxon's operations in the Stabroek Block by former Minister of Natural Resources Raffle Trotman, has been widely condemned for a string of poor provisions, including a paltry 2% royalty share. The PPPC, which took office in August, has criticized but refuses to renegotiate the deal. Let's tell you now that following years of broken promises and delays on the part of the former APNU-AFC regime, the PPPC administration has revealed that GTT's monopoly will soon expire, as the new government plans to liberalize the telecommunications sector next week. This was according to Vice President Bharat Jagdeo. He told members of the media that following thorough technical work, the new government is looking to liberalize the sector within a week's time. A question was posed to Jagdeo about what plan the government has in place to clear the $44 million tax debt owed to GTT by the country. In response to this, Jagdeo stated that the tax matters would have to be discussed, but the liberalization is not dependent on that. And moving on, the Argentine team of forensic anthropology is currently being engaged to lend assistance to investigation of the murders of Isaiah Henry, Joel Henry, and Harish Singh of West Coast Berbice. This was disclosed by the Guyana Police Force Public Relations Officer. That should be the Public Relations Department. In a release, it disclosed that talks are currently underway to have the services of one of the world's foremost agencies in forensic anthropology to support the investigation of the Guyana Police Force into the murders of the trio youths in the West Coast Berbice backlands. The team is said to have conducted investigations on many high-profile cases around the world, and as such, has since offered to send a team to Guyana. Let's tell you now that MARAD yesterday announced that with effect from Monday, October 5th, 2020, the hours of operation of the water taxis on the Georgetown to Vredenhoop service will be from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Access onto the stellings on both sides will be from 6 hours and close at 20 hours. However, they will remain open shortly thereafter to allow all commuters to exit. MARAD reminded passengers and boat operators that social distancing is still in effect on the stellings and water taxis. And now let's tell you that through its ongoing strategy of strengthening partnership, the Guyana Police Force yesterday said it received 2 Honda motorcycles from Geico Construction Inc. Office Manager Champa Maraj handed over the motorcycles on behalf of the General Manager Komal Singh. The intention of the donation is to aid the Guyana Police Force in its fight against crime, the police said. The Commissioner of Police, Nigel Hoppy, received the donation on behalf of the GPF. And that brings us to the end of this morning's newscast. I am Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.